The Crypt interviews in association with Mayo Leisure Point Castle Bar.
You're listening to The Crypt, and now it's time for this week's special guest. One of my main objectives on this show is to support independent filmmakers, and today on the show we have a fantastic homegrown talent from Limerick with Paddy Murphy. So I'm delighted to have you on the show, Paddy.
I'm delighted to be here, Rita. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. To date you've worked on over a dozen shorts, but you started out as a video game creator, so what made you make that change in direction?
I don't know, the funny thing is my original direction was film. I came out of secondary school and I went into a video production course in college. And I did that for a while and I enjoyed it, but I kind of kept thinking, I don't know, I felt like there wasn't a potential for a career in it. I don't know. So then I ended up getting, taking a year out and getting a job. And then I started getting money, and that's dangerous because then I was like, why would I keep going to college? I can get money doing what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
So I ended up working in retail for a couple of years, just game staff and extravision, playing games and watching films. Then basically, myself and some mates around 2009, when the recession was kind of at probably worse, I suppose, we just decided that we couldn't get work, so we said we'd all come together and make a video game company. And we ended up having way more success than we ever expected. I think that was the danger, and that's what went wrong for it with us, was we ended up being more successful than we ever kind of thought we would be. And we weren't prepared for scaling it up to kind of match that. Mm-hmm. So we did really well for about 3 or 4 years. We made a couple of games on PlayStation Network and things like that. But then after that company was shut its doors, I moved abroad for a year. I went abroad just to get away and all the rest of it. And when I came back, I started working with Steve Spade, doing a bit of marketing for him. Steve, who we've had on the show before.
Yeah.
And when I was doing marketing for Steve, I got back into writing quite a lot. So it was around then I wrote a short story called Ensnared and submitted it to the Emerald Gore Society short horror film competition, or short horror story competition. And I remember I told the story to Steve one day. I said, this is the story of this short that I wrote. And Steve said, why don't you try making a film out of that? So I never really thought of it before that. And then when Steve said, why didn't you go do it? I suppose I got off my arse and went and did it.
No, and you caught the bug then.
Yeah, and that's it. And it was the people I met as well, like a couple of the lads that I work with constantly now, I've been working with since then. My assistant director, my editor, one of the actors I work with him a lot since then. I think that's been the major driving force, is just constantly wanting to get back on set and hang out with those people.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it can be hard when you're, say, shooting through the night, or like especially with the feature film we're working on at the moment. It's a lot of time, a lot of effort. But when you're working with the right people, you kind of don't really mind that. You just get on with it.
Well, that's it. Dark Comedy Productions recently reviewed your film collection, and they stated you couldn't be pigeonholed into one genre. I totally agree with that, but all of your movies have that dark psychological element to them, even the comedies. So what movies would you say have inspired your style of filmmaking?
The funny thing is, I've always been into horror itself, mainly. Like that's been my first love always. But I love, I grew up with the Freddys and Jasons, and Hellraiser was probably one of my favourite films growing up. I watched it till my VHS gave up. VHS, remember those? Yeah.
Oh, and when the tape would get caught in the video player and all the joys.
And if you play too much, it actually, like, the film wore out, and that's what happened with Hellraiser.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, I love anything psychological, big time. So when I started getting into gaming, I got really into like Silent Hill, and I got into one of my favourite films ever would be Jacob's Ladder. So there's always definitely, I guess I even see it myself, that there is always some psychological or something to do with psychosis and psychoses in the stuff that I do. And I guess I mentioned that love of just kind of not really knowing what's real and what's not, you know?
Yeah, oh, they're great. Well, I have to say my favourite of your shorts was The Three Don'ts. And
brilliant. I'm delighted. You love the feature, so.
oh, well, I tell you, from the dark comedy to the twist to the soundtrack, it was absolutely brilliant. Now, as you said, you're going making that into a feature-length film. Are you funding that yourselves?
We have, and actually the funny thing is, I can basically tell you now that as of this Friday night, we will have the feature 100% shot. So it's yet include for the next 3 months to try and pull the feature together and take it over to Canada for Fantasia Film Market. So we haven't received any external funding for it. We've basically myself, Barry's the director of photography and he's the producer as well. Paddy, Brian Clancy, who came up with the concept, and a couple of other lads. We've just all been putting our own cash into it and getting out there and shooting through the night and making it happen.
I cannot wait for the feature. If that was a half an hour long.
Yeah,
the short. Yeah. Oh, I'm trying to see what you can do with a full feature length movie.
And the funny thing was, we originally thought we were going to do 3 shorts for the 3 Don'ts, and then we screened it in the Odeon in Limerick, and we sold out screen 1. The reaction to it was crazy. There were people kind of shouting and cheering along to it, and there was a moment where, I won't spoil anything, but a main kind of bad guy gets cleaned out, and the whole audience went ballistic when he got taken out. It was brilliant. And the guy in the audience said, if you make this into a feature, we'll do everything we can to try and help you get it shown more than just, the one cinema. So that was kind of the first try. That really made me believe in the project, I suppose. We just took the 3 short concepts, because the 3 shorts were all over half an hour each anyway. So we ended up saying, well, sure, these 3 shorts all take place over the course of a 3 or 4 day period. So let's just make it one long feature,
Right. So not only have you made your feature-length film, which is fantastic, but you got the amazing news that your short, The Cheese Box, is heading to the Cannes Film Festival. How awesome is that?
I'm starting to get used to hearing it. At first, the first time someone said to me, "Oh, you've got a film going to Cannes," it didn't sound believable, because I suppose for any filmmaker, that's kind of one of the big dreams.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, Kevin, the producer of Cheesebox, are just over the moon. We're all set to go. It's pretty much in a month's time, and we're going to make quite a journey out of it. We're going to film a short and a documentary as we go, and we're going to drive over.
Oh, you're truly dedicated to your work there. Well, can you tell me about the story and the making of the Cheesebox?
I have to be very careful, because Cheesebox is one where it's very easy to do with spoilers, I suppose. But
right, the basic outline.
Yeah, I can give it kind of I suppose what happened was, I had worked with Kevin Kiley before on Ensnared, the first film I made. And we got on really well and everything, but I hadn't seen him in ages, because I've been out filming and he'd been out doing a lot of theatre and stuff. And when I met back up with him, I saw one of his stage performances and I said, I've got an idea for a short. And I told him, I said, I see a guy and he's got a box and we don't know what's in the box, and it's all very emotional and heavy melodrama. And Kev was like, we've got to meet for a coffee. And when we met for the coffee, Kev told me that basically a story about his grandfather in 1950 Ireland.
Yeah.
And it was a box, and it involved not knowing what was in the box right until the last minute kind of thing. And it was very heavy and melodramatic. And the funny thing was, the story he told me was something that resonated with me, because my mother had a very similar experience.
Oh.
So basically, Kev told me a story, and he was going to try and write the screenplay for it, but he said every time he tried to put pen to paper, kind of more or less, he just couldn't. He said the story was too personal. So I had met him for coffee about 4 weeks in a row, and I took in everything he was telling me about the story about his grandfather, and to try and flesh out a screenplay. And I suppose it's an interesting screenplay. There was very little dialogue in it, because, to be honest, there was very little dialogue in 1950s Ireland. People were very much so, didn't talk about your feelings, didn't kind of articulate a whole lot, It was very much so, keep your mouth shut and get on with things.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, one thing that we had a private screening for cast and crew recently, and the reaction was crazy. There was a lot of tears and a lot of people saying at the same time, "Oh, it's a really beautiful piece." And I guess for me, one thing is, even though it's drama, the Cheesebox, it's still I would never call it a horror. It's kind of a horrible situation, and it's yet there is a darkness to it, you know. And we hope that when the film, you know, after it premieres at Cannes and we can start showing it other places, we're hoping to show it at the Galway Film Festival.
Galway. You'll have me saying it like that now. Galway.
Galway. There we go.
That's something I've never actually been to, is the Galway Film Festival.
Oh yeah, no, it's really neat. I went in 2014 with Steve and Kevin. I missed 2015 because we were shooting the Three Domes. But yeah, I'm looking forward to going again this year. And whether the cheese box gets in or not, I'll be going regardless. But we'd love it if it did get shown there. It'd be brilliant to see kind of an Irish audience react. And then maybe we get the platform to start talking about what the film's about. Because until we had the platform, that's why I'm being a bit cautious about revealing too much about the story. But once the platform's there, it's going to be interesting to see how people take what the film's about, you know.
And how long is that short?
It's 18 minutes.
18 minutes?
Yeah.
Cool. I look forward to seeing that one.
Yeah, I'll hook you up.
Cool, deadly. See, it's good to know people, isn't it? Well, the other thing I have to ask you is, where did you get the name Celtic Badger Media? Are you a big fan of badgers?
I love badgers. The funny thing is, when we had our video game company, when we started our first ever project, I was like, can I do about badgers? And my artist was like, yeah, whatever. Why do you want to make them badgers? I was like, I just think they're cool animals. I don't know. I just think they're cool. And then second project, I was like, the first one never got finished, but in the second one I was like, can this be about badgers? And he was like, no, the last one's about badgers. And then that's years and years ago. And then last year we did the 48-hour film competition above. I went up to Athlone and we did a film, myself and Barry Fatty. And he was like, we need a team name. And I said, Furious Badgers. And Barry looked at me like two heads and he was like, what if we get a drama? Like, and it starts with Furious Badgers. He was like, no one's going to take it. But he started laughing. He was like, okay, we'll do that. But then, because I went over to Scotland and worked with Andy Stewart last year, I just had the whole Celtic thing in mind. And so when Barry was getting me a Christmas present, he said, if you had a company, what would you call it? And I just said, Celtic Badgers. And then Barry got me a personalised slate for Christmas with Celtic Badger Media written on it. So I was like, there we go. It has to be the name now.
Well, that's a cool story.
Logo and everything, you know, a girl that I know here in Galway did the logo, and I'm absolutely delighted with it.
Deadly. It was actually, I was only listening to an interview on, I can't remember what show it was on the radio the other day, and some fella done this experiment where he lived like a badger.
It wasn't me, I promise.
Are you sure?
I remember that. It's the best experience of my life.
That's actually true. They need to know, go on, whether it was 2FM or Today FM, it'd be in the podcast. It was quite weird. And then he was saying when he went home, when he'd go home, then he missed living the badger life. Oh, it was a very strange interview. I'll have to hunt him down and get him on the show.
There's a short film in that.
It'd be like Tusk.
Yeah, exactly. A guy who turns himself into a badger. Okay, I'm already trying to write this in my head now.
Well, I tell you now, I want credit for that idea.
Co-writer credit, yeah, 100%.
Well, come here, I have to ask you about your film Retribution, because I believe Tony Todd got you to sign the poster for that movie for him at Screenvention.
Yeah, going back to surreal things, like finding
How
out
awesome.
about surreal, but yeah, when we were all above at Screenvention, I couldn't believe that. Like, I went up to Tony Todd's booth and I just said, here, look, I brought kind of each of the people that were there signing, I brought them all Retribution posters. And I gave Tony Todd his, and he was like, yeah, I want you to sign this for me. And I was like, this is your signing disc. Like, I can't sign something on your disc. He was absolutely, you know yourself.
Oh,
like,
the nicest man.
He was, him and his wife, Is she wife or girlfriend?
I don't know. No, I think just his partner. She was lovely and all. They were so approachable.
They really were. The two of them were the nicest people, and it was so funny because he said, he said, I'll get Paul to sign it next, and he pointed over at Nick's face. And Nick's face looked at him like, how dare you, laughing. Yeah, like Tony was, and he said to me at one point, he gave me a little bit of a discount on the thing, like the signing and the photo, and I said, oh God, I can't believe you did that. And he was like, look, it's all right, when I come back to Ireland, you're hiring me to be in one of your films, I'll add it back onto the cost at the end of that.
How cool. Oh my God, what a buzz you must have got off that.
Oh, jeez, yeah, even the idea of getting to work with someone like Tony Todd got me, absolutely excited. And he told me about him on Twitter and to DM him when film's done, he's going to go see it and stuff. So yeah, but it was, the screenvention was great for that. It was great for just walking around and talking to these people that, in my head were these icons that I grew up with and love them. And then they were just, as you say, just completely approachable, nice, down-to-earth people. Kane Hodder was the same. He was just hilarious. Absolutely mental.
Do you know what? I was actually thinking about this today. Did I ruin your experience of meeting Kane Hodder? Because, for listeners, Paddy goes up to meet Kane Hodder with his wife. And Kane asked their names, and they said Paddy and Kathy. And I started shouting, it's Rachel and Steve. Steve and Rachel. Then I realised, I'm thinking today, I thought, the poor lad goes up to meet one of his idols, and I'm there shouting about Rachel and Steve and Rachel.
You said it more memorable. I think Kane was looking at us like, what are they talking about? But yeah, didn't it turn out that Kane's sisters were Kathy and Paddy?
Yeah, I think, yeah. Wasn't that cool?
He was kind of shocked by that.
Oh, he was. I'll tell you, I can't wait for Screenvention next year and see who.
Oh, yeah.
It's brilliant. It's great to finally be able to go to things like this in Ireland. It really is.
Oh, definitely. I mean, and I know just from even talking to Lisa briefly at the event this year that it's just going to get bigger and bigger and better and better.
Oh, well, 100%.
And there's no power playing here, surely. Like, from what everyone I talked to be some way kind of had some connection to being into horrors or...
Yeah.
and apparently it's one of the best countries for theatrical horror releases. I read somewhere at one point that whenever there's a theatrical horror release, like Ireland always does really, really well.
So it goes to show how many fans are out there. It's just getting contact with them all and getting the community more closer together.
That's it, yeah. Cause I suppose that's the only other thing is that it's gas though. When you talk to people from the States, you realise, here in Ireland we're at max 5 or 6 hours from anyone else on the island, more or less. But then you talk to people in the States who often travel like 8 hours to visit family and stuff. And in Ireland you're like, it's half an hour down the road, I don't know if I can,
It's an awful journey.
Come in for a cup of tea and like the person that's ringing you is 2 houses down, you're like, I can't, it's fair, it's raining now.
Yeah.
We're terrible people for, I think, putting things off and stuff like that.
Oh, we really are.
It's hard, I think, to get people motivated enough to go out to things, but I think anyone who's at Screenvention this year is going to be plugging it up big time to get more people.
Oh, 100%. It was the best weekend. It really was. I'll never forget it. So much fun. And, speaking of Screenvention, there we had Nicholas Vince as well. Now, you worked on a movie with Nicholas Vince.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I worked on 2 films with Nicholas. The first was Andy Stewart's film Remnant over in Scotland, which is where I met Nick. First time. And I just remember the first time I met him, I absolutely nerded out. It was horrible. I felt so ashamed of myself. I don't typically nerd out, but as I say, Hellraiser was one of my absolute favourite films. 1 and 2. And then when I met Nicholas on Remnant, I lost it. He was laughing. He was smiling. He looked incredibly giddy. I think he was insanely flattered, from being honest. But then I couldn't ask him to be in my film there and then because I was like, I just look like such a gigantic nerd right now that there's no point in asking him to be in my film now. But then I left it a couple of weeks and added him on Facebook, and then messaged him, and he said, yeah, it's on a script, and if I like it, I'll get back in touch. And so I sent him on Retribution, and he jumped at the opportunity to play the character. At first he wanted to do an Irish accent, and I was like, Nick, please don't.
Yeah.
and he said, no, I've got some Irish friends, I'll do some rehearsals with so I'm glad. And I was like, I really, really appreciate it. I do appreciate you wanting to do it. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He chose the link to it. I was like, but just, I think it would be better because you've got such a good, strong theatrical voice.
He does.
Keep it true. Yeah, so he loved Ireland. He was only here for 2 nights, but we shot some stuff out in Bunratty Castle and Folk Park out in County Clare, and he was just kind of like a kid in a candy shop wandering around the place looking at stuff.
He's a lovely man.
Oh, he really is. And he's so kind of, he came to the house the night he arrived, and we were wrapping up a scene, and then he just started talking to all the crew, and he started playing with my daughter and my dog, and he was chatting to Cassie, and he just made himself really fit in naturally with everyone. There was no moment where everyone was kind of like, this is the chatterer, like, he's sitting here in the just chilling out. There's one horror story I had from that shoot, though, which is a prop we had, some glue came off it, and I didn't even know there was glue on it. Nearly Kathy and Aaron had been gluing it, and it almost went in Nicholas Lynch's eye.
Oh, jeez.
And all I could think in my head was, I blinded Nicholas Lynch. I ruined his eye. And Nicholas was so cool. He was like, no, I'm fine. I'm just going to wipe this. You know, he was like, it was hard. It wasn't still soft. You know, it's fine. But he said the thing was, it put him right back being in the chatterer suit.
Yeah.
He said all he smelled was super glue.
Oh my God.
When he was in that suit. And he was like, you know the worst thing about it? He said, that costume was so horrible. He said that I've gotten over the memories of wearing it. He said, until that little bit of super glue just made me remember the whole first chatterer costume.
Oh, should they use condoms and everything in the chatterer?
He said it was, yeah. He said it was worth remembering that than getting hit by super glue. So.
Oh, he's so funny, so he is. Well,
he is.
What is next on the cards for you?
Well, we just shot a little short, just briefly, that we want to put out online as soon as it's done. We're not doing the whole festival run with it. We've realised that we have too many films sitting idle in festival runs and all that. So we want to start making more stuff that we can just put straight out. So we made a little short called Cuppa, and it's one of them. I think you'll enjoy it. It's another dark comedy.
Good.
And it's not, I didn't write this one, it was written by 2 of the lads who star in The Three Don't. And they asked to star in this as well, called Cuppa. And I'm really excited to get that out there.
Oh, Brian's in that one, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Brian,
I really liked him in them. He's a very good actor.
And it's funny, I mean, Brian was one of these guys who hadn't acted before The Three Don't.
You're joking.
No, and he just, him and Nathan, the 2 leads in The Three Don't, hadn't acted before, and the 2 of them, I suppose they're kind of playing themselves. They're kind of like an exaggeration of themselves.
Yeah, and they really played well off each other, like, do you know what I mean?
And that's it, they're friends years, so I think sometimes casting is even just down to getting people who have good chemistry already, you know?
Yeah, that's it, exactly.
But yeah, Cuppa's next, and then I've started pre-production on another feature, but I really want to, I'm going to Fantasia in Canada in July, and stuff like that. I really want to try and pull in funding for this second feature, because I've got a couple of people that like to play characters in it, like a couple of actors and something that I really want to have the money there to make that possible. Mm-hmm. That one feels psychological horror. It's basically the kind of influences on it are Misery, Audition, Hard Candy, and those like really twisted, messed up horrors.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
The more messed up and twisted, the better. And I don't mean that just in gore. I mean, like, in the storyline. I love to be completely and utterly shocked. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's when I wrote up the kind of brief for this feature to give to the other lads at Celtic Badger. One of the parts on it said, like, I almost want this film to be like Banned in Places. Like, I want it to be that extreme and exploitative and vicious. Like, I want to push this level up again and really go hell for leather. So I'm going to spend a lot of time working on pre-production for that. And in the downtime, just keep making little shorts that we can keep putting out through the Celtic Badger Facebook page. Just to keep showing people what we're doing, you know?
Yeah, that's the right way to do it, and build up a following, you know. So that's, as you said, the Celtic Badger Facebook page. That's where everyone should go if they want to follow your work.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Three Don'ts has its own page as well, where we do kind of post like updates whenever we do a shoot and things like that. Although since the last shoot is this Friday, there probably won't be a whole lot of updates. Well, hopefully there will be screen grabs and things like that when we're editing it. But yeah, like there's a Facebook.com, the Three Don'ts. All one word, and then Facebook.com, Celtic Badger Media are the two ones to follow, I reckon.
Excellent. Well, Paddy, thanks so much for joining me on the show today. I hope you have an amazing time at Cannes, and when you get your first Oscar for Best Director, you better be bringing me.
No worries. Yeah, I think I'd be 6 feet under if I had an Oscar nomination. I couldn't even imagine it, if I'm being honest.
Oh, crikey. Well, I'll tell you now, I'm a massive fan of your movies. They're so good, and I recommend everybody to go on to the Facebook page and check out what you have up there so far, because they won't be disappointed.
Thank you so much, Rita. I really appreciate that.
The Crypt interviews in association with Mayo Leisure Point Castle Bar.